Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Got it, Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes to help you understand why a person's doing what they're doing. We're magnets of who and what come into our life. And when the energy is imbalanced, we want to know why, because we're not liking the results. We have a vision in our mind, and if we're saying, well, if you can imagine it, you can create it. Well, I know what I'm trying to imagine. So unfortunately, a lot happens on the subconscious mind. So the psychic healing is really the psychological healing that's deep within your subconscious mind. See, a lot of our trauma happens in childhood. So we always look at those aspects as well within these readings, because that's going to tell us why we attracted who we attracted. See, healing is not just about the awareness, but it's about the integration process and the full transmutation process. And that's when you embody a whole new consciousness where you get to see the outcome that you want. Maybe not with the person that you thought you wanted it with. But the irony is, as you begin to heal, if it's a trauma bond connection, you're not going to be attracted to that person anymore. It's like when you get out of a toxic relationship and you look back and you're like, I can't believe I like that person. Oh, well, like, what was I thinking? It's like as if you were wearing beer goggles. Well, it's almost like trauma goggles. You can't see. So the readings will always at least make you feel better, because you know what to do to shape shift the energy. Your relationships are just, telling you what's happening internally. We just don't know what's happening internally because we detach from that emotion, because it's exhausting. All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you know where to find it. It's in the description box. $7.99 gets you to join the channel and all the perks of the channel. And you can check those out also in the description box. Shadow healing. No one wants to do it. So my coaching program is inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma at an affordable, rate that's, allows you to heal in a group. And also check out my otter spirit bracelets. I brag about them every time because I love this one, that watermelon chalcite. Well, I bought the heart chakra ones because I have a closed heart chakra. I need to work on that. Just because I'm sitting in the healer's chair doesn't mean I'm 100% healed. No one is. Okay, let's see what the word of the video is. It's the genius. Oh, I like that energy. The genius is an awesome card, but let's pull another one from a different deck. And we're going to pull that one, and that's regret. Just as I suspected. So the underlining energy is you. You are not like paying any attention to this person. You've cut this person's energy off. And it's like you're actually like creating right now, because the creative genius is what the genius is. And that creative genius is the divine part of ourselves. It's a co-creation process. And that's when you are finding yourself. So whether you're in your work and you're, finding yourself there, and because we all have a style, the gift of style is our unique imprint. It's how people know us. It's our vibe. It's our energy. And when you're in that creative genius, it's like you lose all time and space, because you're co-creating. So you're not paying any mind to this person, and that's affecting this person. See, at one time, this person thought that you didn't know your value. And maybe because you gave this person too much time, too much energy. And what happened is you put the energy into yourself. And that creates a lot of attention for you. So eyes are on you. Now this person's in a place of regret. And there, because it's almost like, well, now that you see your worth, then you clearly see how I treated you, which wasn't obviously too good. And now, not just that, but now there's also other contenders, because the whole time I knew your worth, I just didn't want you to know your worth. So it's like I'm feeling like nothing's really happening right now. You're almost like, because this person doesn't know how to obviously recover from that. But let's take a peek and see. Um, where shall we start? Okay, we can look at the triggers. I'll look at the triggers and then we'll move that way. And then obviously to see what this person is eventually going to do. Okay, trust. So what happened is like this person ruined the trust. And understand what it was is that this person didn't care enough to be consistent. They didn't build the trust. So they continually abandoned. And understand it's because they didn't really give that much to the connection. They wanted you to give a lot. They wanted you to chase, but they didn't give enough. And so this person also, like, I feel like either drinks too much or smokes too much pot. And so they're an avoidant. And the thing is that you're someone, if you're in the genius energy, you're someone that is passionate. You're someone that's creative. You're someone that's like intuitive. You're someone that has that type of energy. And this is a spiritual connection. And that's always a deep connection. And this person didn't really want to value that, the spiritual connection. They were focused on maybe the car that you were driving or the house that you lived in. They weren't realizing that a lot of your money was being poured into a venture, whether that was a home, whether that was your business, whatever it was, that they met you in the process of climbing and becoming yourself. Because a creative genius is when the spirit is taking over per se, and that's because it's an unfoldment process. When you're on your unique path, it happens as you're on it, the unfoldment process. That's why it says no one can take what's yours. No one can take what's yours is because you don't even know what's yours until you're actually on the path. And it's an intuitive one. It's what you feel. You don't really know, but you know the higher self. Where this person, like I said, they check out. They can't deal with the depth of the connection. It's a realness. They were dishonest. Someone that would say they wanted one thing, and then, they didn't really want that. And just over time, when you would say something, if you defend yourself, this person acts as if you're blaming them. And so what it is that they're blaming you, because it's a narcissistic way of saying, well, it's you make a big deal over every little thing that I do. Like they exaggerate. So if you would say, I was surprised that you didn't call me to, go out. They'd say, oh, I have to call you all the time. I'm not allowed to have a life outside of you. And meanwhile, you're like, okay, that's not what I said. Everything gets blown out. And then it's like, then they blame you. And it's a way to make you silence yourself, to become like subservient to them, where here it is. You're in the creative genius. That's when you're co-creating with God, per se. It's when you're co-creating with the universe. You're grounded. You're giving and receiving of love. God's working through you, through gut intuition, into knowing you're on your path. You're meeting people that are fulfilling to you. Your life is getting better. Opportunities are like, this person can see that opportunities are clearly going to happen for you. That's not the energy they needed you to be in. They wanted you to be in an energy of suffering, of, again, feeling bad about yourself, not feeling good about yourself, which you say, this is a person that like would want that. This is a relationship. This is a soul relationship. Understand it is because it teaches, it creates awareness. The energy that this person has for you is that, but their type of love is control. It's dominance. It's so you can't be in a happy mode and your own person and have this person can be able to control you and give you what they want. And so you already saw it. This person has a long way to go before they really know what they want. So, they don't really know what they want because they don't trust themselves. And they don't trust themselves because it's like all their experiences are like this. It's a relationship isn't about control and dominance. It's about, equal give and take, reciprocity. It's from place of love. So this is really what it is. It's like this person had really a hard time of letting go of the past and the traumas and the fears that are associated with it. And that could be their just childhood trauma that just keeps on playing out within every single relationship, where they have to be the dominant one. They have to be in control. And that means you can't be happy. You can't have your own individuality. So this person's going to do this by saying, yeah, I know that we have a connection, but I'm not going to pay attention to that. I'm going to try to psychologically and emotionally wear you down. So it plays out as chaos because you're not going to tolerate that. You're not someone that's like the other people that this person has dated, where they've been able to do that. That's why all their past relationships weren't good. Or maybe they didn't share with you every single relationship, but you knew of one or two that was sure were toxic. And then you looked at the person and you said, well, that the person that they are with was toxic. Well, they made them that way a lot of times. It's like people, it's the dynamic of the relationship. So if you're imbalanced, where you're somebody that's anxious and that needs that love, that needs that emotional, and this person's continuously emotionally manipulating and abusing you, it's psychological warfare. Makes a person very emotional. So past person is crazy. And it's because of the fact that they don't trust themselves, that they're emotional, and it's given so much energy into a relationship. It's draining. So it's obviously not a good relationship. And so this person's never really honest. You always just feeling like they leave out pieces of the conversation. And so it's a lot very manipulating. You always feel like they're reaching, like it's not really part of their story, right? And the reason why is because then you can't base what you're going to do on truth. It's based on however they want it to be. And so it all goes back to, well, you can't trust yourself. Well, where really it's like this person is, it's all about control. It's all about dominance. It's all about they don't feel the natural feelings that a person would have when you're in love with somebody and you feel good about yourself. You're going to be trusting. You're going to have boundaries, but you're going to be trusting and open to what this person Does not. Again, what's there popped out is manipulation. Like always going to strategize, always has to be 10 steps ahead, never going to give you 100% of themselves. And that's because of their wounds. That's because of them. And if you're with them, it's like, understand that might have felt comfortable at one time. And you might say it was never comfortable. It always created pain, but then you never integrated it. If you get people that are like that show up in your life, it's that trauma affected you to the point that situation is playing out, where it's all about betrayal. Because if a person doesn't emotionally give anything, then, and here it is, they're expelling a lot of energy on getting you not to trust yourself instead of putting it into the relationship so they can have the relationship that they want. But they're in balance. So what they want from day to day is going to be different. And they're not taking into consideration your feelings. Intimacy happens over time because trust is something that's acquired over time. It's whether you show up, whether you see the fragmented parts of me that may be broken and that you can show up, but not when it's like this, because this is, there's punishment if you don't do as I say. So it's almost like if you had a parent and that parent said, oh, if you don't do what I say, there's going to be some major consequences. And you knew that parent wasn't playing around. So now here it is, you're in a connection with somebody that does the same exact thing, has that same type of narcissistic energy. Instead of like talking to you like a human being, it's all about dominance. It's about control. It's about not feeling safe. It's about not feeling your freedom. That's the energetic imprint. And then on top of it, we saw substances and now we see addiction on here. So this person is like, well, I'm also not going to show up at all for you because I can't deal with emotions. I can't deal with my own emotions. That's this person. So I'm going to check out, which guess what that means? That means you get to be the parent or you get to be that person that's codependent. Like you said, if you don't like yourself and you're insecure, where you doubt yourself that there isn't anything else better out there for you, understand this person really is powerless. The only power they have is to emotionally manipulate. So you have to say that sometimes we fall in love with what we wanted that person to be. Because again, that betrayal keeps popping up. That's the second time that we have it. And so what you'll see is, why did it go? Why does it always go from like love to like pure disgust? And the reason why is because there's grief. And that grief needs to be integrated, and it's about the mistrust. And so not trusting yourself. We learn that trust doesn't come from trusting other people. It comes from trusting ourselves. So listening. So Spirit says, you were too close up to the picture. That's what happened. You got caught up in that. So you were in balance because you wanted them to be your passion. No one can be your passion, Spirit says. They can contribute to passion, but they wouldn't be able to be your passion all the time. No one can be your passion all the time. You have to do that yourself. We might say, oh, I don't have time for that. I have work. I have all the other things. But Spirit says, no, what this is it's about changing your habits of what feels comfortable. This person's habits are in alignment with who they are. So you didn't see that is what Spirit's saying, or you ignored it. So we only say because you want to see what you did to contribute to the imbalance within the connection. And then it's, well, emotionally, I had that connection. That was the problem. And so Spirit says, yes, because you made them into what you wanted them to be. It's not who they are. Now, that doesn't mean the person doesn't have feelings for you. The person does have feelings for you. They wouldn't want to control you, but it's not a healthy. It's about dominance. It's about control because they have fear of abandonment because that's something that continues to play out within their life. So in that, it's because they don't show up for themselves. They have addiction problems. That's because they have pain that they're not addressing, that they're energetically are out of balance, because we can feel that way. We're tired, lethargic. I can't deal with life. I can't figure it out. Problems. So please send me energetic support. Use the frequency of love to uplift me because I need your help. I'm telling you, that's what it would be in this relationship, because this is where they are now. Like, someone rescue me. You like I don't really, like, I'm not going to put any effort into it because I don't really believe it, and you can't do anything for that. Hey, that's something that it's like, I mean, you could be with that person, but you wouldn't like what it would do. You show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. It's not that this person doesn't have feelings and that they don't think about you. I'm trying to figure out this connection. I've never felt or experienced anything like this before. So it's like, again, that spiritual connection is there. No one is denying it, but karmic mates, that past life karmic mates, of course you're going to feel the connection. The passion and the chemistry and the love and the unconditional love is there. The problem is that there's wounds, and whether the person is willing to heal them or whether they're not. You are the catalyst, meaning there's not love, but do they love themselves enough to do the work? Understand, if they don't, obviously it would trigger you to make it you feel as if they don't love you when really they don't love themselves. And then what Spirit's saying, if you're connected to them, then you're not loving yourself as much. And that might be because, hey, I just want to have a relationship. And Spirit says, yes, but you can't have the relationship that you want until you heal. That's the whole point. It's like, otherwise there would be no point to the relationship. I'm afraid this relationship is too good to be true. And I pull away in fear. So again, this is what I'm saying. It's not that they don't feel it. They feel it. They've never had a relationship like this before, but they have to do their healing. And until they do their healing, it's never going to look right. They're always going to like talk themselves out of the connection, get in their own way, overthink, self-sabotage, because it's like of their own stuff that they need to heal. And the emotions are the gateway to spiritual healing. And if a person is drinking or doing drugs, well, they're avoiding. They're like, I don't want to deal. Again, this person's inner child, again, and it really, both your inner childs are crying out right now. And really, it's about reparenting, not being in the connection right now. So, and which understand, feel like, I don't like this reading because it's like, I want to know whether you can't be in the relationship unless they heal. Now, understand, it doesn't mean that this person isn't your twin flame. If you're the catalyst that makes this person heal, and they're the ones that make you actually do the healing, then Spirit has no time. You will come back together in time. And this, because twin flame connections, is that there's a lot of healing that's done in separation. But the whole time, the twin flames have that connection. There is love there. And so that love transcended time and space. So the first step in a twin flame connection is really, I'm accepting to doing the work that I need to do, because this person's not going to like take me back unless I do it. So it's like, it gives this person a focal point. And that focal point is, I want to catch up energetically to this person, especially if you're in the creative genius. It means you're creating. You're in the energy of love. It's that life is happening, which makes you move further and further away from this person. So of course it triggers all their wounds, and those wounds are abandonment and all the shit that they need to heal, that they wouldn't have been aware of. So it doesn't mean, again, that this person doesn't love. It's that they have a lot of fear. We must remember that we are God and goddesses and work to embody that energy. And that energy is just unconditional love. That's our supernatural energy, our universal panacea. And that's the energy of the universe. That's what connects us to each other. It's felt as empathy and sensitivity. So again, this person feels that energy, but they're healing. So the best that you can say is, well, then what do I need to heal? Because why do I need to? Maybe I'll meet somebody else. And Spirit says, well, you can meet somebody else, but the same energetic patterns will play out within your connection until you actually integrate the spiritual lesson. The twin flame, there's a lot of passion. There's a sense of the person just feels like home. I know that they're my person. It's like there's an internal knowing, claircognizance. And it's one that, believe me, you realize because you're like, this person really fucked me over a lot of times and I should hate them. But you're learning what unconditional love really is. And that's because you grew up in an environment that taught that love was conditioned many times. We're born into societies that tell us that love is conditioned. We need to look a certain way. We need to be a certain way. We need to do a certain way in order to succeed, to be loved, to be, whatever. So a lot of us need to learn differently. But we always look at the inner child wounds and sometimes they're gifts. Sometimes you have gifts that haven't been awakened. So the shadows cover great aspects and bad aspects, as well as you inherit your ancestral, traumas, as well as gifts. They all need to be celebrated. Confusion is card number 1. Cleansing is card number 2. Support is card number 3. Abandonment is card number 4. Crafts and creativity. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love. And let's see. Innocence. And isolation. So let's see. No rhyme, no reason. How many is that? It should be around 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. It's actually 8. Pulled an extra one. So getting this person that didn't see your worth and doesn't know what their own worth is and needs a lot of healing. So what was the trauma that played out in your life? Well, abandonment, for lack of support. And understand it's the confusingness when you don't have that support. When someone tells you that they love you and then they don't show up. So you could have had a parent that said, yeah, I love you, or yeah, but then every event, everything, they just were never there. They said one thing, but you didn't really feel it. And so it was very confusing. And so again, that played out in love, how you felt that person loved you. Now, again, the child self they don't know. They just know, whether mommy, daddy give me the love, they make me feel supported, or they either don't. They make me feel good or they don't. They don't look and say, well, it's because they were sick and to go into life. No, they don't know. They just know yes or no, because it's more on a feeling level, because the child hasn't psychologically really, their brain hasn't developed that much do to really figure that out. So it's simplified. So simplified means held now within the energy body, held within the physical body. So going into a relationship and feeling like, well, I don't know what that feels like to be supported, to be in a relationship that actually supports me. I'm not saying that you haven't ever been in a relationship, but one that, like, that where you're like, the person really has my back. They give me support. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. And I've seen that. I've always had to like do everything kind of on my own. I've always had to be the strong person. And it's because I feel like I trust too much. It's like that I think people are going to be the way that I am, is how you are. And spirit says yes. And you've, part of you is someone that's like has a healing energy, someone that does. But spirit says now love represents passion. And passion, that there's actually hobbies and interests that you had at a young age, whether that, again, you were interested in doing any type of craft, any type of sport, any type of singing, any type of any dream, spirit says, and that you didn't put the energy there. It's like when we are consistent at a young age, because we have the support, where our parents are encouraging us, they're showing up for that ballet, whatever it is, or that soccer tournament, and they're encouraging you and they're supporting you, the child becomes disciplined and does and continues on that path. And so things take a long time to manifest. So how an Olympic player actually gets in the Olympics is they were a kid and they practiced every day, all day long. And the spirit allowed them to again manifest their heaven on earth. And we have that dream. That's our spiritual sovereignty, that we actually, if we become that energy, when we're disciplined, but if we don't have the support and the love and the guidance, then we tend to give a little bit too much to other people in hopes to get that emotional fulfillment, because we say, well, I have work and I'm happy with work, but who the hell can just work all the time? Where's the other passions? I want a relationship. And spirit says, and you can have a relationship, but you're like, I want that relationship. And that's the problem. It's we don't have attachments. That's because, again, that attachment is going to play out as that karmic theme. So when you pour the energy into your talents, your hobbies, your interests, your passions per se, then God makes a way where there is no way just for you. The universe brings you the people, the situations, the experiences that are going to change your mind and your heart about who you perceive you are, what you believe that you're worth, the opportunities that you can actually have. Not the same scenario of I'm in a relationship, but again, there's no support. It's like, yeah, the person comes over and we hook up, and they might come over and they'll say, and they try to, but they're not really, I don't really feel like they're there. And spirit says, well, you need to be really there for you so you can attract that into your life. And that happens when you're on your path and you're the energy of love. And that's why this person knows that you are on the path, because you're in that creative genius energy. And so they can feel you moving away, slipping away. So we have to say they feel that, but now we're going to talk about the actual integration part of actual healing. And that's to say, well, what do you do with that negative energy. Because what? The person's just a jerk. Now I'm like mad, or what am I supposed to do with it? Well, Spirit says, first and foremost, it's to create. Now I always have to find this deck. This deck loves to hide on me, and it drives me crazy. It drives me bonkers. It's like, and then what happens is I realize that it's like right in front of my face somewhere. Where the heck is this deck? It's a special deck for the actual transmutation process. Well, we can use, I guess, any deck. Screw it. Let's see what you need to do. Not with this. No, this is love deck. That's not gonna work. All right. Well, look at the focus cards, and we'll say, let's see what the transmutation process is. Where to put your energy is that. It's like, if this person's not going to be in your life, then you have to direct your energy towards something else. Because in alchemy, you just can't get rid of negative energy. You have to put it somewhere. It's creative energy. That's really what negative energy is. So again, first and foremost, Spirit says, create a sacred space. And that's so that you can take time out every day to get into a practice of meditation. Because it's a co-creation process. It's trusting yourself comes from seeing that Spirit works through you, that you actually are supported. The illusion was, again, you weren't supported as a child, not the way that you were. But Spirit says you're always supported because I'm inside of you. I work through you, but I also work through the environment. So if you're not on your path and you're not being guided because you don't have direction, because you don't really trust yourself, then that's, like you said, you're not fully enjoying your life. And part of it is too, I feel like some of you guys have projects to do within your home, whether that's renovating, whether that's fixing certain things in your home. And Spirit says, and also it's about working out. It's about building stronger structures within yourself. Part of that, your home where you live, the physical body, these are all root chakra things. So Spirit says, getting a stronger connection to the physical body, the physical world, the physical elements of the physical world. And that's through being interactive in your own life so that you can be guided, because we don't get told what the path looks like ahead of time. The path unfolds as you're on it. So getting a stronger connection to the physical body is important, because only in the now do you get to find guidance. So trusting yourself is, hey, I was guided and I see a good outcome. I can trust myself. It's part of that is that, and then also repairing what's like needs to be fixed within your outer structures too. And that means joining things. Spirit saying, yes, the dread of, the Spirit says, how do you know what you're actually going to like and what you don't like until you try things? If it's too much of I'm tired, Spirit says, and you want someone to come into your life and give to you, you get what you are. And so joining things, you don't know, and your third eye does not open until you're fully grounded. And unless you're joining things that you're passionate about, that you have an interest in, well, then there's not going to be a path that opens. So it doesn't mean about quitting your job. It doesn't mean about anything. It means you start where you are. And that's by doing what you can do. This is what this is saying to me. And understand the path unfolds, because the universe will always bring you what you need. It's the fact that you don't really know. And so it's about trusting. like I said, the path unfolds while you're on it. And you're seeing the universe bring you everything that you need, the signs, the symbols, but that's your intuition is guiding you. That's why I'm saying you're not going to know how. So it's about trusting in the fact that you're being guided, that you trust in a sense that something higher is guiding you. And that's the universe. You know that the universe brings you what you need. And you also know by the law of attraction, if you can imagine it, you can create it. But you can't really fully imagine unless you embody the full consciousness. And how do you manifest? By the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So changing this energy is all about that. And something, again, where it's also sometimes just joining things that are a common interest that you love. Having an interest like music is something like, is it not work? It's not something where you blow off steam in a healthy way and you meet people and you understand that relationships are something that happen over time. Trust is something that happens over time. Really, that's what this is. It's about trusting yourself and trusting in the fact that there's something larger than just you paying bills and doing whatever. It's leading you to your soul's purpose and leading you to the people that are supposed to be in your life, and not just settling for, well, this is my life and I'm not really happy with it, but I'm going to try and find a relationship now, someone that makes me feel good about my life, or it makes me feel like complete, where spirit says you should feel complete on your own without that, you know, is really what it comes down to. So we end off with one more thing, which is about you true. Understand that some of you, when you're on your path, will discover like really your real capabilities. It's going to lead you to new opportunities. So part of, being on this path and not giving your energy to this person really allows you to step into your divine energy. And it's all about, like I said, making the right decision. And so I feel like this was more like a karmic test than it really was about this person, coming back and being that perfect person right now. Almost like the catalyst for them to heal was you, and vice versa. But not all the time are our relationships, meant for us to live happily ever after. I feel like the decision is going to be made where you wouldn't be with this person. That's my feeling on it, but I'm going to pull just see. I mean, and I realize it's a collective reading, so not all of you are going to like be say yes or say no, but in this story, I feel like no, I feel like you're going to like put your energy into like helping other people, like that. You're on a faith walk right now. You're creating right now. I don't feel like that there's, Ken, that you're in the creative genius doing work, that, and you're like wherever this takes me, where this person, I feel like they have escapism problems, but will they will they we can see will they regret it? Which I'm sure that they're regretting it now. But let's see. This person is like there's part of them that still doesn't know whether they don't have a chance. And that's really what it is. It's like they don't know how to approach you. they're trying to manipulate, but there was a part of them that's like, that's trying to figure it out, trying to figure out whether or not, hey, like, can I come back? Would you take me back? You might be like, they never put in any effort. Well, the whole abandonment issue is what makes them come back to again, and them also seeing you being very social, and like there's connections that you're making. Like I said, that this person, like, I feel like somehow they feel like they're going to benefit if they're like in your life. So they're trying to figure out how to come back. And so I do feel like eventually they would come back, but they wouldn't really offer like a relationship, like a love relationship. They'd come back as like more like a friendship, like ask you, for that. And possibly because they already know that they ruined the connection. So, you know, I feel like like I said, that there's a part of the energy that you're creating and the things that are happening, and you moving away, that things are happening for you that this person wants to be a part of. It's the connections that you're making, it's who you are, really that's what it is. But this person had a lot of has a lot of spiritual blockages, and you should expect that their relationships, they don't never really in a relationship unless they're thinking that how they're going to benefit, how they're going to get something more than just a relationship. That's this person. And so, especially if you have this energy where people are seeing you as like a leader, people are seeing you as someone that's strong, well, this person like definitely misjudged you. Now they're seeing like everything that you are. They want to be a part of it, and spirit saying you need to continue to join things, meet people, because your path is still unfolding. Don't look back, because this person, if they're manipulating, that's not a good thing. They need to, if they're coming in, they need to be coming in transparent. But hey, you do you. I mean, like it said in this story, you're leaving this person behind. And so we leave off with one more card, and that is freedom through faith. So again, having faith gives you freedom from like being with people that are narcissistic and one-sided. So Spirit says, calm your thoughts and rise above fear. Free yourself of all doubt by entrusting your doubts to God. Have faith in God's perfect timing and placement. See? Perfect timing and placement. That is going to happen for you in the right time, in the right place. You don't have to settle for less with this person. And that trust his will and find freedom, because it's like you don't need to control, you're taken care of. You can have exactly what it is that you want, but you have to again do these things to actually envision it happening for yourself, for your third eye to open up. So where you're actually embodying that, being like, oh, I know that Peter would ask me out. Why every Tuesday night at the square dance, he's always wants to like shake his can next to me. I don't know, like whatever it is, you can just tell. It's like I knew that Mary Jane was gonna like join that. Why? I know she likes me. Why? Because she's always sitting there, can I get you a drink? Can I get you a drink? Like she's so friendly and nice, but kind of like a little scary. I mean, we can tell because we have intuition, and you can tell when you're out there and you're being interactive in life. You're like, I have other opportunities. People like who I am. This person didn't want you to even know that. They treated you like that. Now that you've stepped into who your good energy is, really who you truly are, they're saying, oh, I see how your life is going to blow up. I want to be a part of that. Of course they do. You know, it's like the worst thing for this person is for you to move on and have a life that's going to be exciting and fun and where you're happy without them. And that's not love. That's, again, more like trauma bond, how this person would be. If you're resonating, give this video a like, by the way. And we're going to end off with one more card, and that is gratitude, having gratitude for what you already have. And that's kind of hard sometimes, especially when you like the person and they're like, it didn't work out and they're a jerk. So but Spirit says, when you're on your path and good experiences are happening, you're not going to think of this person at all, but they'll think about you. And so, and Spirit says there's always a space between what you sow to what you reap. So this was a karmic test that's happening actually right before a blessing happens for you, that this person can actually see your blessing where you may not. And Spirit says, when you begin to join things, you will begin to see, but you need to do that. And then Spirit says, direct. What does this say? It says, be aware of the light in your life, direct your thoughts to the beauty in and around you, to give thanks to God for every little thing that brings you joy. You're enlightened by your thoughts, riches surround you, and appreciate all that life brings you. So Spirit's saying it's like you have to step into that energy like you already have it. And that's to attract that person that you're looking for, that the love of your life into your life, not this person. This person was just a karmic test. It doesn't mean that there's not love. And understand, you're still going to feel a connection to that person until you step into that energy. You can't get rid of that by just saying, I don't want to like that person anymore, because your brain is going to say you have to put someone else in that place, because dysfunction is better than nothing. That's how the reptilian mind works. So it's something like, well, I still feel like I have connections. Spirit says that when you join things, you're going to meet new people and life unfolds. You have to have faith in yourself as well as the universe. I'm going to leave that there. You can let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.